This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Well, healthcare professionals sure seem to be lacking a sense of humor. This is Wretched Radio. So there I am, sitting in the drugstore health clinic, because they have those now. What are they? The hour clinic?
Minute clinic?
That's the one right there. I knew it had something to do with a time measurement or something.
Wait, now I have to go to school to go to my drugstore?
It wasn't a minute. I'll tell you that much right now. It was more like 37, but who's counting? Who?
Have you been to a regular doctor's office?
Yeah, I have.
Remember your 8 o'clock appointment where they showed up about 9?
I know it. But hey, we're grateful. Nevertheless, the lady that I saw to deal with this thing that I've got dwelling behind my nose, Todd, that would be your brain. Oh, I had more dwelling back there. Gave me something called amoxicillin. Nevertheless, I'm sitting in the office and going through the symptoms that I've had for the last week. And so she's asking all kinds of questions. So have you had the shakes? Oh, yeah. Trembles? Mm-hmm. Aches? Definitely. Headache? Yeah, you got it. Vomiting? Nope, didn't have that. No, the cough? Had that. And then she said, have you been traveling anywhere? And I said, well, within the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I've been to Hong Kong a couple of times. She turned as white as a sheet. And I immediately said, oh, Hong Kong. Wait, sorry, my bad. Tennessee. I meant to say Tennessee, where I've been a couple of times. She didn't laugh. She didn't think it was funny at all. I don't know what's the matter with these healthcare professionals. Not thinking coronavirus jokes are something to laugh about. And speaking of the coronavirus and something to not laugh about, how's about all of the people that are making prophecies or statements about coronavirus? You know what segments of evangelicalism, if we can use that title, that this is coming from. I have in my never-before nicotine-stained fingers several different statements from different pastors about coronavirus. This is from Fox News. This is the headline, just a reminder. I don't know how this is working out with Fox News and Bethel Church in Redding, California, but there is some sort of a connection going on here. I don't know what it is, but Fox News on a regular basis, and I'm talking multiple times a week, you will see articles like this. Christian pastor Sean Boltz, that's the headline, quote, Lord showed me the end of the coronavirus. So this is now being delivered as a headline with no blushing. Do you realize, like 20 years ago? Wait a second. You got some preacher that's talking about when the coronavirus is going to end? Crackpot! Ding dong! False prophet! Nope. Headline at Fox News. He declared, the tide is turning now. We're going to see it come to an end, the pastor boldly predicted. It's not going to be the pandemic that people are afraid of. Well, there's a bold prophecy right there. So I don't know what the standard is. I don't know anything about specificity because there isn't any. This is just more nonsense out of this wonky Bethel prophetic movement, which is just absolutely being embraced by the world. And Fox News, of all news outlets, quote, I do believe it's the answer to prayer with people of every type, Catholics and Christians. We can't afford a moment of darkness in history. God has a plan. Well, what kind of gobbled? This is a prophecy? This is what passes for prophetic these days? I guess it does. During the event, Boltz prophesied to several people, including one person who recently finished treatment for cancer. Calling out details like names, children, and profession, he told him the cancer would not come back and that he would live a long life and see his kids grow up. Boltz also said a number of significant miracles happened. We just don't have any of them actually happening. However, there is a healing revival going on right outside of Atlanta. It's up near the Georgia mountains, right at the foothills. I want to say Dahlonega or Dawsonville. I always get the two confused. Nevertheless, this revival supposedly has been going on for weeks. Just last night, I think it was, although I'm still medicated, so might be a little fuzzy on dates and times. A woman came to the revival because it's been going on now for a long time. She still didn't have her arm. She gets into the baptismal pool because that's their trick there. You get baptized for healing. And by the way, you don't have to get baptized to get healed. You can actually sit in for somebody and get baptized. That's right. So baptism has become a total mockery, sham, and device for people to keep their supposed healing revival going on at this particular outbreak. The people get into the pool on behalf of somebody, and they get baptized so that somebody else who can't actually be there can get healed. That's right, at a healing revival. The guest speaker, by the way, was Michael Brown. Nevertheless, woman showed up, didn't have her arm connected to her body because she had somehow in her life lost her arm. She had already been to the healing revival. It didn't grow back. She was back to the healing revival again. However, a kid with ADHD, he was healed on the spot. See the difference there? Shenanigan, nonsense, smoke and mirrors, making claims that are impossible to verify, and yet the organic healing doesn't happen. That's the difference. Genuine organic healings. That is what Jesus did. I started reading through the Gospel of Mark again. It's such a great read. And the word immediately is used it's constant. I challenge you, if you want a way to maybe get engaged with your daily Bible reading, go through the Gospel of Mark and start underlining immediately. He got up and went to. Immediately, I'm second chapter of Mark. I'll bet the word immediately has been used 12 or 15 times. Just bang, bang, bang. People bringing the sick, sun up till sundown. He's healing, he's healing, he's healing, he's healing. Not ADHD, but he's healing people with organic illnesses, people who are being carried to him, people who are dying, people who died. Those are genuine, verifiable, organic healings. What you see at this shenanigan outside of Atlanta, it is just that. And by the way, that particular revival meeting, they also had the Bible with tractor oil at it. This hokey Bible that supposedly had anointed oil. Well, it turns out that the guy who runs the ministry with the anointed Bible was buying the tractor oil at the local implement store. And yet, we're still using that anointed oil. Absolutely criminal behavior. Sean Bolt's headlines in Fox News. During the event, he prophesied for several people. And he told them, you're going to be healthy. You're going to be just fine. What happens when they don't? Where's the follow-up? Where's the care? Where's the thought, well, what if somebody decides to not take their medication anymore for healing? Honestly. Here's another one. This fellow happens to be from New Zealand. Tithe-paying Christians are protected from coronavirus by Psalm 91. Now, there's a bit of irony in this because Jesus actually quoted Psalm 91 when the devil was tempting him in the wilderness. Nevertheless, this is a mega church in New Zealand. Speaking to his congregation, the pastor said, God allows epidemics, pestilence, and famine when people have departed from faith in him. But for Bible-believing, born-again Christians who pay their tithes, that's the key. God assures them protection from the virus in Psalm 91. Who knew such a thing? You don't think this is dangerous? You don't think that this might lead to some problems and some heartbreak and some people wondering, how come I'm a Christian, I got coronavirus, I must not be a Christian or something? Or how's about this guy is a biblical hack? Honestly. From Newsweek, pastor says God will protect the U.S. from coronavirus because the Trump administration sided with life in the womb. Well, Joey, this was in Omaha, Nebraska. You were just there.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely
town.
Was this posted at the zoo?
That's where you went, was the zoo in Omaha, right?
Yes.
Maybe you should have visited this church. Here's the prophecy. Here, listen to this whopper. Listen to the words that I speak to you at this moment, says the living God. Why do you fear, United States? For I have spoken to you. This guy is literally speaking on behalf of God. For I have spoken to you before, and I will speak to you again. I've extended and opened a window of mercy to this nation at this time. Therefore, the virus that they speak of, the bright prognostication, the diagnosis, the fear, my mercy is the quarantine that shall be greater, and that they have spoken to you, United States. And because of the administration that stands in this land, who honor me, who honor the covenants of your fathers and the Constitution, and because they have aligned themselves with Israel, and because they have sided on the right side of life in the womb, there I give life to this nation, and I give mercy. Do not fear. The virus is the Spirit of God. In the meantime, a guest of Jim Baker on his program said, hey, we've got an essential oil to take care of the coronavirus. And the charlatan show continues. This is Wretched Radio.
Behold a world without wretched. Please become a gospel partner